Welcome to Demystify Magic with Molly and Madison.
I'm Molly, a former skeptic turned full-time energy healer and teacher.
And I'm Madison, a born and raised witch running my family's crystal shop.
And we're here to explore all things woo through the lens of both science and spirituality so that you can find the moments of magic in your everyday life and create an intentional spiritual practice.
So if that's what you're into, find a cozy spot, take a deep breath, and let's demystify some magic.
Howdy doody, friends.
Howdy and also doody, friends.
We ended one song with me singing. We started another song with me singing.
How else would you start or end a song?
I meant episode.
Yeah, if you listen to these back to back, it's like just one long song.
It's the song of our people.
The song of our people.
Anyways, today we're here to talk about water, which I was just saying might be my favorite element, and then I remembered I am a Pisces.
Yeah, my Cancer rising is coming out to say, hey,
hey,
we know a lot about this.
Let's talk about water. Water.
Is that a reference, or are you just making sounds?
Every simmer pot video I ever make, I start with water.
Oh,
so clearly someone doesn't watch my content.
Are you kidding?
Rude.
I didn't think it sounds whatever. Regardless,
whatever.
Listen, I get to listen to the sound of your voice whenever I want. I get a lot of your voice.
That's fair. That's fair. That's fair. Anyways, before we dive in.
Oh, I felt it coming in my bones. Before we make a splash with this week's episode.
I've been pooling all my jokes for this.
I hate it here. This is our last episode.
Why don't you tell us your magic moment of the week?
My magic moment is that while I was on vacation last week, a sweet listener of this podcast from Alaska, Sam, I love you. I've put out a public plea. Hopefully by now you've answered my public plea and you've slid into my DM so I can say thank you to you. But just in case you haven't, thank you. Brought me like a full care package full of stuff from Alaska.
That's so nice.
And left it at Spellcrafter while I was on vacation. Ryan, who was at work that day, she sent me a picture of it and she was like, someone's here, drop this off for you, blah, 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 blah. And I lost my marbles. I was like, what do you mean? There's like honey and jam and syrup and a little tank top and smoked salmon. And I just could not get over it. The idea that someone was coming to Florida for vacation, went shopping for me, and took it all the way here.
That is so kind.
The kindest thing ever. I could not believe it. I still can't believe it, honestly. So Sam, if you're listening, I love you. You're my magic moment. What was yours?
Aww. Mine is going to feel dull in comparison to that. But my magic...
I love dull.
I can't even say it with a straight face. You know, if you had told Molly 10 years ago that this was her magic moment, she would have wondered how she aged so quickly. But as you know, Madison and I have been training to run a half marathon, and my calves, they've been screaming. They've been so sore.
We are so old.
We're so old. And I didn't tell you this part, but I was watching one of my parasocial friends, which is what I call my TikTok, friends, people that I co-follow. Mm-hmm. Mutuals.
Your mutuals.
Yeah.
Okay, grandma. Let's
Anyways, one of my parasocial friends was giving someone advice about how to wear like really uncomfortable high heels. And she was like, put really high socks on and slather your feet with CBD oil because it will relax your calves and feet. And I was like, oh my God, that's genius. I should do that after running. And then I was like, wait, I should get compression socks because they're designed to help with that. And so little Miss Molly, she just happens to be going around town with my spouse, and wait, sneeze into the mic.
It's too late. They're gone. Fuck.
Damn
sorry.
It.
They'll be back. I'm almost sure of it.
Why would you rob our listeners of that experience? People have been DMing us for a year.
Because I forget.
When you're going to sneeze on the pod.
I'm sorry. Should I get some black pepper?
Yes. Genuinely. What the fuck?
Okay, here I go. Keep talking.
Anyways, my magic moment is that I bought a pair of compression socks and I was so excited I put them on in the truck. Like, didn't even leave the parking lot, put them on, and immediately took a nap. It was my calves were so relaxed. It felt like my entire body could relax. And I genuinely I took like a 2-hour nap. And my feet have never felt better. My calves have never felt better. Madison's back with the black pepper. All right, let's do this.
Well, that didn't do shit. It just smells like pepper.
You need more.
Ugh,
You gotta like snort it into your...
No, I don't want to. No, it's not working.
No, do more pepper. You have to. You have to.
I can't. It's not making me sneeze. Oh, God.
Don't sneeze over there.
I'm coughing. That was miserable. I hated that.
You didn't even sneeze.
Listen, it'll happen when it happens. Those ones weren't even good.
So upsetting. Madison's doing lines of pepper.
Don't do drugs. Do pepper. Oh, wait.
Oh.
No.
No.
There's one brewing. There's a sneeze brewing. I promise I'll sneeze into the mic.
I can't wait.
If I sound distracted, it's because I'm really focused on whether or not I have to sneeze.
Madison sneezes like a mouse. We've been talking about this for like a year.
Yeah, if you've missed that part of the podcast, everybody thinks I sneeze like a mouse. I get made fun of for my tiny little girl sneezes. But what it is,
sound fake.
What it is that I was, as a child, so anxious. And like how nobody realized that something was like wrong with me. Oh wait, I'm gonna sneeze.
Yes, okay. I'm not gonna look at you. I'm not gonna distract you.
No, it keeps coming and going. Anyways,
okay.
As a child, I was so anxious that when I would sneeze in class, I would get upset that people would look at me.
So you made your sneeze as cartoonish as possible.
I tried to like train myself to sneeze really quietly. Okay, pepper does work. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is my sneeze. Oh. I'm sorry, everyone who had to just endure that.
It's so funny to me because there are...
No, I can't stop.
There are for sure people that this is their first episode, and I'm like, which would you rather them get initiated into Demystify Magic? Madison's mouse sneeze or fuck, marry, kill? Puxatawny Phil.
I don't even know. Because imagine listening to this for the first time and you just hear, no, don't sneeze away from the mic. Like, aren't you supposed to keep that to yourself?
If you liked that hard left into sneezing territory and you want a full hour of it, we do have a second podcast over on our Patreon that is just essentially this.
Yeah,
So,
it's essentially the last 4 minutes, but make it an hour long.
demystifymagic.com if you want to support the pod. Join our group chat over there. Join our book club. And listen
and join
to
the
more
fun.
silly, goofy times. Anyways, water.
I need some water after what we've been through.
What I think of water is sneezing is really an exploration into water.
Yeah?
It's an expellerant of water.
Ew. Ew.
It's snot dry.
No.
But first, let's take a quick pause for a little plant-powered support.
This episode is sponsored by Conscious Seed.
So, we have a confession. We're officially in our elixir era.
And no, not just because we love saying the word elixir like we're medieval potion masters, although we do.
We're talking about the plant-powered elixirs from Conscious Seed, crafted by our favorite herbalist and astrologer, Chelsea Joelle.
Whether you're seeking mood support, hydration, stress relief, or a mushroom-powered mind reset, there's a blend for literally every flavor of daily chaos.
Like Moody Bloom for emotional balance and creative flow, or Lion's Heart for grounding and nervous system support when your brain feels like a browser with 3,700 tabs open.
Fruiting Body is a mushroom-based blend that supports immunity and helps you stay focused without the crash. And Venus Power, total floral hydration goddess energy. Put it in your mocktail and feel like a glowing little fey creature.
These aren't quick fixes or cures, but they can support your body and spirit in tending to what's real, gently and consistently.
Use code DEMYSTIFYMAGIC for 10% off your favorite elixir at consciousseedapotheca.com. Sip slowly, sip intentionally.
Support your body, tend your spirit, and trick your brain into thinking water is interesting again.
Thank you again to Conscious Seed for sponsoring this episode.
All right, enough about plants for now. Here comes the rest of the juicy stuff.
Tell me about traditional Chinese medicine.
Okay, water. In TCM, water it's one of my favorite elements. It's one of my favorites. It's associated with the organs of the kidney and the urinary bladder. But it's also connected with the bones and the ears. And it very much represents our adaptability and our renewal. It's linked to emotions like fear and courage and the season of winter, which is the most yin season. Oh my God.
I'm sorry. I'll spare you. Happy to listen to all of them. I take it back. Sniffing pepper works.
So it's the most yin element tied to the most yin season. If you missed last episode, yin and yang are adjectives we use to describe different energies in traditional Chinese medicine. So yin is the more receptive, it's slower, it's darker, it's more inward focused. It's more of that being rather than doing. So I think of water so much as almost like, you know how water can have, almost like we talked about fire last week, as it can be a pilot light to a wildfire. Water can be still or it can be a tsunami.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think that's why I love the pairing of fire and water as balancing each other, because they both can have such big highs and low lows. The kidneys are really important in traditional Chinese medicine because they store what's called your kidney jing, which is essentially your life force energy. So the belief is that we have a set amount of life force energy that is housed in the kidneys. And so the strength of your kidneys equals the longevity of your life, and the strength of, every function in your body. All of the other organs are sort of impacted by the health of the kidneys. And so the way that I think of this in terms of water is so tied to our emotional resilience and our nervous system. And so when our nervous system is functioning well, balanced, we're able to kind of fluctuate between that survival response when we need it, but come back into relaxation when we don't need it. We stay in balance, we can experience greater health and healing in the whole body. Everything functions better. But when that is out of whack, the nervous system is out of whack, we are less emotionally resilient. So little things will kind of trigger that fight, flight, freeze response. And then our immune systems are compromised, our digestive systems, our cardiovascular systems are affected. Every system in your body is affected by that. And it's so tied to those emotions and to water in general, right? We're made up of so much water. One of my teachers says we're basically like cucumbers with anxiety. It's 97% water at this point.
Mm-hmm.
And so when you experience dehydration, you also experience a whole host of, symptoms that affect all the different parts of your body. And so I think tuning into that balance in water, balance in our emotional system, it really impacts the entire system as a whole.
Yeah, I think that focusing on the water element really does show us how the emotional and the physical are so interconnected.
Mm-hmm.
That connection between our internal world and our external world it becomes very clear when we talk about water.
Definitely. Definitely. And so I see the connection to water, if we were to like label it with different emotional states. When we're out of balance, we might experience fear. When we're in balance, we'll experience flow, right? I also see water so tied to our intuition and like this deep, deep sense of wisdom and trust. Like when we're able to flow with water, the image I always get is like if you're standing in the water on the beach and you're being pelted by the waves, you can either be really rigid and the water is going to hurt, right? It'll smack into you. It'll surprise you. It'll be a cold shock. Maybe it'll knock you over in some cases. Or you can loosen everything in your body and you can flow with the water. And now all of a sudden it doesn't impact you as much.
Yeah, I think like that ties in really well to what water kind of symbolizes from a pagan witchcraft perspective, because it is deeply, deeply tied to intuition. And also something that I think about a lot, like you said, we're 97% water. It's deeply tied to the lunar cycle, you know? Think about how the moon moves the tides. And think about what that might mean in your physical body, you know? That connection. I see people talk about it on TikTok all the time, like that deep connection that a lot of us feel to the moon, I think is because of the water that is literally a part of us, you know? Like we feel that ebb and flow as well. We feel that push and pull. And so water as an element from a witchcraft perspective really does represent that like tie to not just the moon, but also to me, like to the great world beyond, you know, like to all of space, to that like reminder that we are so much smaller than we seem, you know, like that connection to the moon then reminds me of the connection that we have to the stars and all the other planets and like how we are a part of this interconnected system.
Yeah, and we're interconnected with each other. Like, isn't it true? Is this bullshit? This time on Demystify Magic, is it true or is it bullshit?
Is this bullshit?
The water we have on the planet is like in a circular system, right? We don't get more of it.
Yeah, no. Yeah, it's all the same water.
So all the water
cycle.
Yes.
Famously.
Okay. Yeah, famously. That's why I just remember the TikTok trend where if you saw a water bottle like on the side of the road, you opened it up so the water wasn't trapped.
Oh, yeah,
remember that?
Yeah. Yes.
And I was
where
like,
you let it go back home.
That is some witchcraft.
That is some witchcraft.
Hundo P. Anyway, what I was saying in like the grossest way possible, all the water that's been inside me has also been inside you.
Ew.
But like we're all connected.
I hated that. in the grossest way that we could be connected. No, for sure. And we are also connected to all the people who came before us and all the people who will come after us. Like we have this one common thread through this water that we share.
And that is where our deep wisdom comes from. Like I see so much of when I talk about intuition, I talk so much about like the interconnectedness. I am one with you, you are one with me, we are one with all. We're just one light in multiple bodies. And I think when we can start to see that interconnectedness, one, we step out of our ego. We step out of the me, and we step into just this sense of trust and deep-seated wisdom. Like every single person that has come before you has figured it out so far. Every single time you thought you couldn't figure it out so far, you have. Everything is figure-outable. And so when we can drop into that element of water, when we can drop into that interconnectedness, drop out of our head and into our body, regulate our emotions enough that our nervous system stabilizes, we can find the answer within us to move forward.
And I think that ties in really well to the Suit of Cups in tarot as well, because it is so much about emotion, but it is also deeply about our relationship with others, our connections with other people. And what I love so much about water and that feeling of connection is that it is not just the connection that we have with people who are here on Earth. It ties into that intuition to share our connectedness with those who are no longer here, with those who did come before us. And it can also really tie into our relationship with ourselves. I see that as like a really deep part of our intuition as well, because when we don't have when we're out of balance in our relationship with ourselves, we can't experience that connection with other people. And that means that we can't experience that connection to our intuition.
Mm-hmm. And that's very yin, like that turning inward to the self, looking inward for the answer rather than looking outward.
Oh, yes. I love that. Totally.
Crystals you can use to work with water element is aquamarine, one of my faves. That's probably my top pick for water.
Great song by Addison Rae.
I was going to say great line from Taylor Swift.
Great television show from the late 90s.
Great Disney movie.
True. Maybe that's what I'm thinking of.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm thinking of a different TV show. What's the TV show called? Or Nora Glory with the mermaids. Oh, come on. You gotta know it.
I know Aquamarine had mermaids.
Maybe it's H2O. I'm Googling. Sorry, everyone.
We're taking a hard left.
It's H2O.
Really good for tapping into the water element.
Water, great TV show.
Blue calcite is another one I really like, and chrysocolla.
I would not have guessed chrysocolla.
Really?
I mean, it is blue.
I think of, so chrysocolla to me is like the water within the earth. Because it is very like earth element.
Okay, I'm back in.
It's like,
I'm back in.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like a wet soil kind of feeling. So it's like got that really nice grounded quality to the water element.
Yeah. Okay. That makes sense. I like that. It will come as a surprise to no one that my favorite way to use water as a ritual tool would be crying. One thing about me, if you listen to this podcast, you know I love to cry.
Love a silly little cry.
I think that is like the most powerful. It's almost like an offering of your own water in a way, you know? You're giving a piece of you back to the earth. It's the ultimate release, you know? Like you say, like, with this, I give a little bit of my pain back.
Okay, that makes mine sound way less beautiful, but I was going to say you can turn your bathroom ritual into a ritual of connecting with water. So TCM, water, connected with...
Like when you go piss girl?
Yeah, connected to the kidneys and the bladder.
Another way to give your water back.
Giving your water back, like release, like really, like when your body is releasing, focus on releasing. What do you want to let go of? What emotional burdens can you put down? And then as you wash your hands clean, hopefully you wash your hands clean. If not,
please wash your hands clean.
If
you need a reason to wash your hands, know that the ritual doesn't work unless you wash your hands.
Just imagine like clearing any energy that's not yours away down the drain.
I know that we usually say you are the magic, but in this case, washing your hands is the magic. There is no magic without the hand wash. Yeah,
the intention is secondary to washing your hands with soap. Yes. Sing happy birthday if you have to while you do it.
Get under the fingernails. Anyways.
Other watery rituals you can do is you can talk to your water. There's a really cool study that was done in Japan. Dr. Emoto was the dude's name. Maybe you've heard of it before, but he did a very famous water study where he essentially labeled different cups of water with either traditionally sort of negative intention words or positive intention words. So like gratitude and love versus like I hate you and you disgust me and Satan and etc. And then he froze the water and looked at it in underneath this really, really powerful microscope. And what he found was, if you Google this, you can see photos of it, but the water that was assigned the traditionally like quote unquote positive words created these really symmetrical, almost like snowflake looking forms, whereas the ones that were negative created these like black hole looking things. And I always use that as like reason to talk to my water. And so and you can do this study with at home if you want to. A lot of times middle schools will do this with a plant. They'll call it the bully plant experiment, where they have a plant that they say mean things to and a plant they say nice things to, and the mean one, it always dies. Or some have done this study on rice, where you cook rice in 2 cups and then you say nice things to one and mean things to the other, and the mean one molds faster, which grosses me out. So I will not be trying that.
Yeah, I will not be participating.
I did have I told you this story?
Maybe. I don't know.
Back in when I was in boarding school, I wanted to grow morning glories and I didn't understand how to grow plants. So I just bought morning glory seeds off of eBay. Mm-hmm. And because this was the early 2000s, we didn't know any better. And I planted them in my dorm room in an old milk jug that I covered, swaddled in hoodies so that it would be warm. And then it wouldn't grow. And I was like, why won't this morning glory grow? It's the middle of January in Maine. And so what I did was I took my 98-cent earbuds and I put them under the soil. And then on my tiny little iPod Nano, I played Michael Jackson's Thriller album on repeat 24/7 for it. And the thing sprouted.
You heard it here first.
It was a thriller.
Plants love Michael Jackson.
But ever since then, I was like, okay, sold, like music,
soiled,
talking to your water. Everything I've ever soiled has been soiled within you before. Don't forget that interconnectedness.
Ew. Ew.
Anyways, talking to your water, setting an intention for your water, whether that's water you drink or your bath, your moon water, your simmer pot, your sparkly little beverage.
Mm-hmm. Another way to work with water that I found is giving your emotion as an offering. I've done this before. Specifically, I do it a lot with anger. If I have anger that I can't let go of, I say out loud, like to the earth, or if there's a deity that you work with, or like really whoever or however, you can say like, I give you this. I give you this feeling. I give you this emotion. Have it, transmute it, do with it what you will for my highest good.
Yeah, because emotions are just energy in motion. Emotion.
Ooh.
I didn't
get
come
it?
up with that.
I didn't think you did. I've heard it before, I think.
Oh, okay.
Sorry. I feel like that came out meaner than I meant it.
Water, your rituals that you wanted to share. Do you have any more?
Splash into our DMs and let us know. Oh, you're asking me. Can we start that over?
No.
Okay.
No, we're keeping that.
I say it again. Splash into our DMs and take a dip in our DMs and let us know how you work with water. Oh, also, water makes a really great offering for spirits. If you if you want to leave an offering for ancestors and you don't know where to start with water. It's a great one.
Yeah.
They get thirsty over there.
Oh, a spell that I really like. Okay. Spell that I really like. I am someone that I always have like a cup of water or 10 next to me before bed, like on my nightstand. That becomes just like a water collection. So what I started doing is to motivate myself to not collect water by my bed. I turn it into a spell. And so I drink my water before bed, right? And then I set it on my nightstand and I ask it to, if there's like an emotion that I can't let go of, or maybe a worry I can't let go of, or something else that I feel like I need protection from, I ask the water to collect it. And then in the morning, because when you sleep, your energy field is much more porous. So you're like shedding that stuff more easily. So the water collects it and then I take it. So I have the water collect it and then I water a plant with it and I let the plant transmute it. So if you are someone that collects cups of water on your nightstand, this is the spell for you. Hashtag mundane magic.
Hashtag. All right. Did we do it?
Did we?
I think we did it.
Water are you waiting for? I hope this wet your whistle.
Free me from this prison.
Oh, drip on into our DMs if you like this series.
We will see you next week for Spirit. We love you. Bye.
Thanks for listening to Demystify Magic with Molly and Madison. If you want to learn more about us, you can find all our links in the show notes.
We'd love to know what you think of today's episode, so drop us a review or give us a shout out on social media. And don't forget to let us know your magical moment of the week. Okay, love you. Bye.